There we are, live on PsychOps with Brian. Yay! So, good morning, everybody. Today, I wanted to talk about leads. So today we are coming up on our every 2 months we do an event where we do live calls, and you guys can turn in leads, and we will try our best over 2 days to call your leads. Now, if we don't get a hold of them, we don't get a hold of them, but we will do our best to call them, and you will prep them by saying that, hey, my partner's going to call you on Monday night, the 6th. Okay, so write this down. Monday night, the 6th of October at approximately, I would say, between 7 and 8 Eastern time. Okay, 7 to 8 Eastern time, sometime between like 4 and 5 Pacific time. Okay, so wherever you are located, wherever your leads are coming from, and guess what? We don't care where your leads are coming from. Okay, so if you want to, if this is your chance to check out another city, remember, we own properties in how many states? 5 different states. You do not need to live by your properties, especially when you sell them on lease purchase, because remember, you sell them on lease purchase, and who's taking care of all the repairs? They are. So you don't have to be local. You don't have to be local anyway. Let's face it. I mean, the houses we have locally, we don't do any more with them. It's not like we're going over there and looking at them either. So it's like, to us, it makes almost no difference whether they're 5 miles away from me or 500 miles away. So if you've always wanted to work some other market, the only difference is you won't meet the seller in person. And nowadays, a lot of sellers are fine with virtual buying and selling, and you do a video chat. And so, if you guys are looking to expand your territory, and especially if you're stuck in a city like, one of our students who wants us to actually go and do a home visit, is in Grand Junction, Colorado. And I started to check this out, that area. And, it's like a lot of the areas that are pretty in demand, and the average price range is up in the 400s. So again, that's not our ideal accumulate a lot of properties quickly, retire in 2 years. You're not going to be able to do that in that market. Remember, how many properties do you need to retire? How many properties do you need to just say, I'm done? Okay. How many do you guys know? Hi, Doris. Thank you for being on and chiming in early. Okay. You need 20. Okay. So 20 properties, you just got to find 20 properties in your whole career, and that might seem like a lot if you haven't done your first deal, but once you do your first deal, you realize, wow, this isn't that hard, and I can really get this going. Okay. And so you learn the strategies, you get over that huge first hump of your first deal. And that's why we love to do call for you and basically pave the way, lay the red carpet out for you to go out there and buy that house. So if you can get us some good FSBO leads, if you need, you should have access to, most of you guys have our what to say and what to do system. So you have access to the forms folder when you go to the website. And so if you're up there, I want you to download like 20 or 30 of the FSBO opening call scripts. And some of you guys have a little older version of the FSBO opening call. If you have the one that has the little box that says square footage, year built, bedroom and bathroom count, it's a little box on the right side towards the top. That's the newest version of the FSBO opening call. But you can use an old version, that's fine. We don't care. Even you can use somebody else's version for calling FSBOs. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to get the best results from our FSBO script because it's got all the words built in. It doesn't have just, there's where a big line where you ask for the mortgage. No, it says, so a lot of times it works out best by doing something with financing. So do you have a mortgage on the house, or do you own it free and clear? Okay, so now that's how you ask for mortgage information. You don't say, so what do you owe on the mortgage? But if you don't have a line there that says what you're supposed to say, how you're supposed to ask for the mortgage, I don't know how the heck you're asking for it. You could be saying anything. So that's why it's really important to use our FSBO opening call, because all your scripted lines are built into the actual form. So you're writing down all your answers, but you got the script right there. That was the smartest thing, one of the smartest things I ever did, and makes it so much easier to having the script built into the form, so you don't have to have some other script and then you're filling in some form and you're looking at some other script. And obviously the closing call scripts are longer, and that's why you use the closing call prep sheets. So if you are making FSBO calls, what should you also have printed off? About 20 closing call prep sheets. That's where you take your notes. So you don't have enough room on the FSBO opening call script sheet to take a bunch of notes. So where's a great place to take notes? Just, a yellow pad or something? No, the closing call prep sheet. Every deal you do should have a closing call prep sheet in the folder. And that's got that prepped you to make the closing call. It's got the seller's hot buttons. It's got your first offer. It's got a backup offer. It's got all kinds of information on there to get you confident to make your phone calls. Okay, so print 20 of those closing call prep sheets. And when you're making your FSBO opening calls and when you're taking notes, take them on the closing call prep sheet, but also perform the actions read over the closing call prep sheet before you do the closing call. The whole idea is it's supposed to prep you, get you, practically ready and psychologically ready, psyched up to make that call. Okay. So again, turn in leads. You can turn them in any time from like today through basically the 6th. Again, the 6th is the day we're making all the calls, and trust me, we never have enough leads to call. So we will absolutely, I can give you a guarantee that we will at least try to call every lead you send us, whether they pick up or not. Again, and that's why it's a good thing when you if you're talking to your FSBOs, tell them my partner is going to be calling you on what day? October 6th, Monday night, sometime around 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So they have a 480 area code, so please pick up the phone. Okay, their last name is Wolff, Wolff. You don't have to tell them that, but you tell them to expect a phone call from a 480 area code. That's the biggest stumbling block when we do these live call sessions is the sellers want to sell, but they see a number coming in that's not from their area and they think it's a sales call or something. Now, every time we call, and this is what I want you to do, anytime you call a FSBO, a landlord, a realtor, or anybody, if they don't pick up, you leave a very pleasant voicemail message and you immediately text them. Hey, I left you a voicemail. I'm really interested in buying your house. Remember, always say buying your house. If you're ever leaving a text or voicemail, always don't say I'm interested in your house, because they could say, oh, that's just some realtor who wants to list it. Say, I'm interested in buying your house. Make sure they know you're a buyer. All right. And that way you'll get the calls back. And sometimes if you text right away, the only reason they didn't pick up is because they didn't know what you were calling about. And if they get a text immediately after and says, I'm calling about your house, can you please call me right back? I just called and left a message. Sometimes they'll call right back. And so we definitely will try to call your leads. And now remember, if you are looking for another city and you're thinking, okay, I live in a city where, my sort of benchmark is when starter homes are 350 or more. Okay. And I don't know why I picked that number up, but that seems to be the right number. So if you can't, if a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot home in a nice neighborhood is going to cost you, over 300,000, that's going to be a tough area to develop to quickly develop a rental portfolio of 20 homes. But and you're on all these houses, whether a $400,000 house or a $75,000 house, on all of them you're still looking for the $500 spread. So why not focus on the cheaper houses that are easier to get into? The sellers aren't so picky and so worried about everything, and they're just easier to work with, and the numbers are better. And it's easy. Sometimes it's really easy to find a $500 a month spread on a $60,000 or $70,000 house, and you rent them out for like $1,200, $1,300, and that's a model in some markets. That's a cookie cutter paradigm that you can repeat. So you look around at some of these other cities like Cleveland, Milwaukee, Columbus, Ohio, some of these cities where you can buy houses a little bit more affordably. We're in Detroit, Evansville, and Louisville, Kentucky. Those are all areas where it's a little bit more reasonably priced homes. Minnesota also, and so start to think about where you can find houses if you want to. Now, if you have a great local area, that's fine. And also, even if all the houses around you are 750, 850, sometimes those are the most desperate sellers right now, because all the people who are buying in that market are sitting on the sidelines waiting for rates to go down. So some of those are the most motivated sellers. In fact, sometimes we're doing searches for properties that are actually 500,000 to 2 million. and calling those sellers, especially if the house is sitting there vacant, because that is a very super motivated seller. And if they have a low payment, it's possible you can work something out and get a good cash flow. Okay, so don't be scared of the more expensive properties. But again, if you want to go fast and develop a lot of, buy 20 houses in the next 2 years and retire, basically with $10,000 passive income coming in per month, that's sort of the ideal. Then, try to find a market where you can buy houses for 50 to 150. That's kind of my magic number. Maybe I'd go 50 to 200. But yeah, if you can find a city where you can buy houses from 50 to 150, you can accumulate a lot of houses a lot faster. You don't have to even if you're paying down payments, you can accumulate those fairly quickly. Great Friday. We are ready for the weekend. Awesome. Doris, call some great leads. And again, guys, call your FSBOs. And if you want us to call them and follow up and do a closing call, it would be essentially a week from Monday. So you'd be telling, if you talk to some sellers this weekend and say, oh, okay, this sounds like a good, sounds like we could work together. My partner's going to call you, or anytime during the next, 8, 9 days, whatever it is until the 6th, just tell them, my partner from Arizona is going to call you on Monday night, the 6th, between 7 and 8 Eastern, and work this out. And it sounds great. Remember, in fact, the most important things for you to do, if you're going to send us a lead, is number one, build rapport. Get them to like you, and get them to think that you know what you're doing a little bit. So again, build rapport and credibility. If you can do a little bit of that, that's awesome. Remember, use your bio. Everybody should have a little short bio that says, just so you know a little bit about us, we buy and sell houses all around the area. And then, something positive about yourself, something likable, something credible, any credibility you have. I've been doing real estate for 20 years. If you bought your own house over 20 years ago, I've been involved in real estate over 20 years, whatever it is, say your bio, build that credibility, build the likability. And, you don't necessarily have to get into hashing out all the details and the numbers. That's what we are good at with the closing call. But if you build credibility and you find out one answer to one question, which is, are they open to monthly payments? Okay, that's the big question. Now, if they say, absolutely no way, I would never take monthly payments, we can, sometimes I still want you to turn that lead in, okay? Even if they say no way, sometimes there's some way that we can approach them, and you don't know why they said no. Now, if you know why they said no, if they said no because they must have $50,000 from this sale to get their next house, and they already bought their next house and it's all set up, and okay, well, there's not much we can do about that. Okay, so we're not going to wave a magic wand and fix a situation like that. That is not a match. Okay, and what are we looking for? We're looking for a match. We're looking for somebody who doesn't need their credit and cash out right away. And so an elderly couple that's moving into assisted living, would they rather have a nice monthly payment and be getting 5%, or would they rather get a check for $200,000 and put it in the bank and get 1%? Remember, sometimes seller financing is a better idea for some people. They just don't know about you yet. They don't know you exist and what you can do for them. So just talk to a bunch of FSBOs. And again, if you want us to do your calls, it's a week from Monday night. And warn your seller we're going to be calling, and I would love to talk to them and love to call you and give you updates on your deals and fill you in on deal structuring and everything that we figured out. Okay. So hey Doris, hey Charles. Great to see you. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Jennifer. Let's see. Follow the scripts. Close more deals. No brainer. Yeah, guys, when you stick to the scripts, what's my secret to success? Write this down if you haven't, but I'm sure you probably have, but write it anyway. Stick to the steps. Okay, there's always steps. Now, where are the steps? Where do you find the steps? The steps are in the step-by-step checklist. Now, in the what to say and what to do system, there's 7 types of deals. There's a work for equity deal. There's obviously a cash flow. We call it a pretty house deal, or there's a lot of different words for it. It's a buy and hold deal. Okay, or there's a lot of other kind of deals. There's flips. Flips is sometimes people think that's the only deal. When they think about real estate investing, they think that's all there is to real estate investing. They don't realize there's 7 different deals. So if you go to your what to say and what to do system, in the what to do manual, there's 7 checklists, 7 step-by-step checklists, 1 for every deal. And you should print those off, because that should be in the front of every file folder that you have. It should say the Creative Financing step-by-step checklist. And that should be, it's like 36 items long. And that's the one we focus on the most because we love buy and hold, cash flow, creative financing deals. So that's the steps. So if I say stick to the steps and you go, well, where's the steps? They're all on one sheet. Amazingly, all 36 steps are on one sheet of paper, and you can check them off as you do them. And that's why they should be in each folder, because that takes you through the whole deal and makes sure you don't miss any steps. So that's the steps. Then I say step 2 is stick to the scripts. So stick to the steps, stick to the scripts. You know, we have the best scripts. You know, I used to work in Hollywood for 7 years writing screenplays. I wrote over 20 feature-length movie scripts and about a dozen TV episodes. The scripts are great. You're going to love the scripts. You're going to sound real natural, and you're going to be able to close deals with them. The most important script is the 2.5-page long seller financing closing call script. If you focus if you focus on just reading that over every day, just reading it to yourself out loud into the mirror every day, you're going to get good at that, and you're going to be great at the creative financing deals, because that's all there. It's all in that 2.5 pages. That's all you need to know to negotiate with these sellers. It's amazing script, okay? And then lastly, stick to your schedule. So you got to set up some kind of a schedule, right? Stick to the scripts, as Charles is mentioning there, but then you got to stick to your schedule, because if you don't put in the time, if you don't make the calls, nothing's going to happen. So stick to the steps, stick to the scripts, and stick to your schedule. Yeah, I went off on a tangent there. That's one of my favorite things to talk about, because that's the secret to success. Seller said they would sell their house to me for $8,000. Second house here, she lives $37K. Okay, well, sounds pretty good, Doris. Those are some reasonable prices for some houses. Obviously, there's a lot more to the deal. Guys, remember, what's the first thing I always kind of look at? Is this thing going to cash flow? If I buy it, what can I rent it for? And what's my payment going to be? Okay, that's the first number one thing. I mean, even more important than the purchase price. It's like, why am I even interested in this? And if it's a negative cash flow, if the seller has a payment of $1,300 and the most I can get for rent is $1,100, why would I even be interested in that house? So again, that's some pre-screening, getting the numbers straight. So there's a lot of numbers that go to this. Long distance, that's good. Doris, send me these leads for sure. Send me these leads. Let me, and if you already have some work, if you already have something in progress that you talk to them and kind of have notes, let me know that too. I will still come in if you just haven't got them to say yes and come over and buy my house yet, and you think we can help with a call, and you've talked to them, make sure I can see your notes where you've left it, so that when we talk to them, we're not starting over from scratch, we're starting over from where you were. All right, but yes, I will definitely talk to people you've talked to and have deals working with, especially if they're kind of stuck, especially if sometimes you sort of get at an impasse with the seller where, you're just kind of stuck and you feel like something has to happen here. I don't have an appointment to go buy the house and I want to get over there. Okay, you are a solution to a problem they didn't know was available. That's right. So they didn't even know that seller financing was possible. They didn't even know. And there's a whole bunch of realtors out there who don't understand seller financing. And if they could bring that to some of their sellers would be interested. So don't forget your realtor market, guys. That's a big thing. Listing a multi-unit apartment for rent this weekend. In process of hiring realtor long distance. Okay, Doris, you got a lot going on. Doris, if you want to send me an email, do you guys know my email? And if you do send me an email and I don't respond, send me a text. Guys, I'm going to be pretty open about this because I know you guys are going to be sending me leads over the next week. So Jennifer, could you put that in? You have my text. Guys, put wolfcouple@gmail.com. Wolfcouple@gmail.com. And that's Wolf with 2 Fs. And then my number is 480-747-8988. Okay. So I'm okay with you texting me. I can tell you right now, if you call me, I almost never pick up that line, but I will read the texts. So text me. You can include stuff with your text. You can attach lead sheets. You can also, you can email them to me as well. So email them to me at Well, you got a lot going on, Doris. So yes, I do want to talk to you and Or wholesale, yeah. Sometimes, guys, you get something under contract. Remember, you don't always need to have financing backing you up. If you can get something for a good enough price, and with our creative financing deals, we say full price for your house. We don't focus so much on the purchase price. We focus more on the terms, because the terms is where the deal is. But on certain distressed properties and other properties where you're just looking at the purchase price, don't think, oh, I have to have financial backing. You just got to get it under contract and find somebody who does have financial backing and wholesale it to them. So that's wholesale deals. I don't talk about those as much. Okay. Don't know how to talk with you. Okay. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and put it in here and put my contact stuff. So I want you to go ahead and email me if you've got leads, and you can attach them to the email. Okay. Now, when you send it, put Brian all in caps, in the subject line. Okay. Because then there's a lot of people that have that email. Okay. So let me see in the subject line. I can't see. Okay. All right. So guys, I'm posting that. That's my emails. And then let me put my phone number in here. Okay, so guys, again, you can text me and I will respond. And you know what? If you send me an email, especially if you're attaching leads, make sure you send me a text too. Text me that you sent me the email. Okay, so that's it. That's my email and my text. So stay in touch now over the next week. Again, so it's not this Monday that we're doing that live event. It's a week from Monday. It's the 6th. So just tell any sellers you talk to, my partner's going to call you on the night of the 6th, Monday night, and work this out. It's going to be great. So you guys just build some rapport, ask them if they're open to monthly payments. Remember, even if they say no, we'll talk to them anyway. And if you're sort of in the middle of a deal, but you've got some challenges and you can't get over a hump, that's we like getting involved in those too. So guys, let's send leads in over the next week, and I would love to work those for you. And I look forward to it. So let's say I love working leads. Okay, that's what you're doing. You're going to work some leads and send them to us. I love working leads. 3 times on 3. That's our affirmation for today. 1, 2, 3. I love working leads. I love working leads. I love working leads. Yes, and we're going to work your leads for you. So now 3 deep breaths. Nice deep breath in. Good. Big smile, and let it go again. Nice big smile. Hold it a little bit and let it go. Okay, and one more. All right, great job. All right, so let's have a great weekend. Make some great calls. Send us some awesome leads, and I can't wait to help you close your next deal or even your first deal. So we'll see you on Monday. And until then, keep expecting success, getting awesome training from the Wolf Couple, and taking action.